Welcome to Ask GMBN. We are talking all things mountain bike and we are answering your questions. Or we're trying our very best, aren't we, Martin?
We're trying our very best.
So, what's the first question going to be?
First question this week is from Jack Newman, and it's referencing a discussion from last week's show, Ask GMBN 38. We were talking about can hardtails do red runs? And he's saying, surely you can do a red on a hardtail with 120mm up front.
Well, Jack is obviously pretty confident.
Yeah.
He knows his ability, the limits of the bike. And he's saying you can for sure get onto those reds and shred with a 120mm hardtail.
And he is right, you can. You can do that for sure.
Okay, this next one, it's not really a question. It's more of a tip for especially when you're learning those wheelies and your manuals. And it's from TOMMI, KIVIMAKI. And he's saying, practice manuals on grass. He says, not so painful.
Ah, good
so
tip.
He's obviously learning from experience.
Yeah, that is a really good tip. Next one is from James Johnson. What do you mean by a more progressive shock or a less progressive shock? That's a good question.
Do you know what? I feel I actually need a chalkboard to answer this question properly. If you have here your axis, this is your suspension used, excuse my handwriting, and this is the force. So if you have a linear suspension, it's going to be a line kind of dissimilar to this, maybe a little bit straighter. But the more suspension that you use, the force is going to be kind of very similarly equal. If you've got a more progressive suspension, then what actually happens, as you go through the travel, it starts to get stiffer. So you can see there you need to use more force and more suspension. If you've got a less progressive one, then similarly, it goes in the opposite direction. Less force to move through the suspension. Easy, right? Well, does that make sense?
Yes.
Dango Drist is saying, am I alright to use WD-40 as a bike lubricant?
No, you are not. No, it's clues in the name. It stands for water displacement 40, the 40th formula. That's what it does. It displaces water. For a little while, it will actually feel like it's lubricated a surface, but once it's displaced the water, it actually becomes the opposite of that. So do not use it for lubricating.
Got a confession to make.
You've done it. I've done it too.
Yeah.
We've all done it because it's there and it's always handy and you can use it. But that is not its job.
This works. Okay, well, to correct, if you need to know what you can lube your bike with, let's throw out a video all about what greases you should be using, what lubes, so we can just totally avoid that confusion.
Yeah, I think we need to watch them.
5 products which should keep your bike running completely smooth. First one we're going to start with is PTFE spray. This can be used to disperse water from your bike after a wash, for example. It's great for use on the chain, although you do want to be really careful that you do not get it on your discs, because you'll only have to replace those pads or spend time trying to get the lubricant off them.
Okay, next question, and it's a good one from Marvin O. WTF is an aggressive geometry? Well, now let me talk,
because I think I might draw another
Scott
picture.
can help us. Scott can help us with a graph. Could we call it a graph?
No, it's definitely not a graph.
But an aggressive geometry, it basically allows you to ride more aggressively. The actual geometry change to the bike could almost be described as slackening. It's a slacker head angle, lower bottom bracket, a longer wheelbase, so you can really attack the cornering. So that's the aggressive point of it. But in all sense and purposes, it's not a more aggressive bike. It's not like, well, an angry shape. I don't think that's the right description, what Scott's writing down, but...
Do you not think this is...
No, I don't think that's quite right.
I think that's fantastic, personally.
No, I don't think that's quite right because it needs to be aggressive. So there's its eyebrows and it needs some teeth.
No, but what I was basically saying was it's got a lower bottom bracket, longer top tube, longer sort of wheelbase, you've got slacker head angle, and then you're probably going to find that, I forgot to draw it on, but you can have a higher stem. And it's just really to tackle those fast, gnarly tracks and give you a little bit more confidence. What are you drawing now?
Horns. It's aggressive.
Okay. Yep, aggressive. Okay, well, let's just get rid of that whiteboard now because I think we've done enough drawing for this episode.
I think we have. Right, next question. Can 140mm suspension go on a red and black downhill runs?
Yes, we answered this with the hardtail, didn't we?
Yes.
And we can probably take that 140mm bike to Whistler and ride A-line. You know, we've seen Loads of people doing that, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I always think about these questions about can you take your bike here and can you take your bike there? There aren't any rules. You're not going to go on a downhill run and someone say, look, man, you cannot ride this on that bike. You could do it all on a hardtail, but
you're going to know when you're out of your comfort zone. Yeah,
you're going to know. The bike's going to tell you all about it.
Yeah,
but
just stop right there.
Always take things steady and ride to your limits.
Next question is from Mike JESKIN, and he's saying, will it send me over the bars if I lock my back wheel when I'm in the air?
Well, it definitely has an effect when you're in the air. It can be a great way to save yourself, actually. So if you come out of a jump and you've got real fright at front end high, lock that back brake and it will start bringing the front end in. But it does start to, it loses its action the lower the front wheel comes. So if your front has pitched below that level axis point and you grab your front brake, it's not going to suddenly dive it back round underneath. It'll only work so far.
I almost felt that you should have had the whiteboard out there drawing that picture. But before we get into
no
that,
more drawing.
Let's throw them straight to a video and it's 10 common jumping mistakes.
Jumping a mountain bike is an awful lot of fun, and I've actually coached loads of people on how to do it. And I've seen a lot of very common mistakes. These are those mistakes and how to avoid them.
Another jumping question for you, and this is from Arlo Parlo, and he's saying, what is a good thing to do to practice getting the back wheel up on a bunny hop, and would it matter if I had little grip on his flat pedals?
Grippy pedals can help actually, so that's something to look at. But a really good tip to help you getting the back wheel up is curl your toes. So if you imagine curling your toes over the front edge of your pedals, that will naturally drop your toes down and that will help with the scoop back upwards and that will help you get your back end up.
Or without shoes, because without shoes on flat pedals with big pins, ow.
Definitely shoes, definitely shoes.
Okay. Having some fun is asking, is it fun to ride downhill in the snow?
You know what, I've done it and it is hilarious. It's hard though. Have you done it? You must have done that in Scotland.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah,
I've done it in Scotland and the Mega Avalanche and Mountain of Hell.
Yeah.
And do you know what's crazy about those two things? Is that you're in a mass start race, you're going down the snow with people flying by you, sort of covered in people. Like, it's just like an ant race start. There's like 600 people going and you've got no perception of how fast you're actually going in that snow, just because it's just a blur. And I think that Nico Vulios in the mass start race was doing 120 kilometers per hour.
Wow, man, that guy's fast. I've actually done a snow race in Chateau Day, and my hydraulic brakes froze. Wow. So I had no brakes whatsoever, and it actually made me a lot faster, which says a lot about my downhilling. Too much on the brakes.
Imagine if you'd had water brakes.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Tom or Tal, hey, I got a new set of wheels and the Presta valves and tubes. I already got Schrader tubes, so can I drill a bigger hole or just buy a pump that fits Presta?
I would drill that hole. I've done it and it's fine.
Yeah, you've done it, but you've bought a brand new set of wheels. Surely you're going to go out and spend just a few bucks and get some tubes that fit correctly.
I'd drill them.
No, go and buy them. We're getting mixed opinion, but let's just throw you to a video all about upgrading your wheels and how to do it.
It can often be said that when you upgrade your bike, the wheels are the very best place to start. Now, I've got this stock GT Sanction right here. It's an enduro bike, and we're going to put a set of carbon Reynolds enduro wheels on it. Now, I've never actually ridden a carbon wheel set, so I'm going to be very interested to find out how they ride in the trails, just what they're like, and if they're the best place to start upgrading your mountain bike.
Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Pace yourself, because it's time for the quickfire round.
Love doing that.
Caleb N is saying, why is the map in the background upside down?
It's not, it's the right way up.
It's the right way up now.
We're not in control of these things.
Manuel Liza is saying, is it possible to put a remote lockout cable to an enduro fork?
That's one for you, Scott.
It is possible, but not on every single fork. So it's one perhaps to check out on your manual, on the fork user guide, and find out if it's compatible. It's probably not going to be a cheap upgrade though, so you maybe want to think, is it worthwhile?
Harry AMES, are two by drivetrains on their way out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
One by for life.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. TB Games, can I put a 40 float shock on a hardtail? Well, you guess. Yes.
I mean, you can fit it, can't you? Yeah, definitely.
It'll work.
Can.
Oh, I'd like to see it. Do you know what? I've got a confession to make.
You've done it.
I've done it. Not a Fox 40, but a triple clamp.
I'm going to say that you can do it, but it's probably not The intention is cool,
The
but
geometry will
the
be
geometry is
horrible.
terrible. As long as you don't care about your warranty, then why not?
Then why
Let's
not?
Let's do
Why
it.
not?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Daniel CAIG says, is it still a manual if you use your brakes?
Definitely.
Definitely still a manual, yeah.
It's only not a manual when you start to pedal wheelie.
Yeah, when you start pedaling, then your manual is gone. It's time for Correct Me If I'm Wrong, and the me this week is Javier Martin, who's got a wheelie problem. So what can we do, Scott?
Well, I think we should have a look at
Let's
his
have a
little
look.
movie and
Let's have a
see
look.
where he's going wrong and give him some advice. Okay, so he's coming in. He's getting the pedal stroke to sort of initiate it.
Oh, he didn't commit his weight back quite as much
No.
as I'd like to see.
No, but at least he got that front wheel up a little
Coming
bit.
round again for another
Yeah,
pass.
okay, let's see what he can do. Take two. Come on, Javier.
Go on,
Feel
Javier,
that you
you've
get
got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that
Better,
that was
better.
better.
Yeah.
That was better. I think Javier knows what he needs to do.
Yeah.
I think he knows, really.
He knows. He
Yeah.
needs to practice some more.
He needs to practice some more, and he needs to commit to putting his weight back and finding that balance point. I've got a really good tip for that.
So have I.
Have you? Let's
You
hear
go
yours.
for it.
No, you go
Okay.
first. Yours will be good.
Well, I'm going to point back up to that comment at the start where you
Yeah.
could practice on grass to find that balance point.
That is a great tip, and it goes along with my tip very well.
Okay.
So what Javier could try and do is roll along on that grass, and as he comes up in the wheelie, deliberately, sat down this is, deliberately let his legs swing back and step off the back of the bike.
That is a good tip.
Get used to going over the back and realise how safe it is once you are actually trying to do a wheelie. You know it's possible, and once you know that you can swing your legs back off the pedal and step back behind the bike, you're safe, and then your confidence will rise.
And then, do you know what else he could do?
Yeah.
He could practice feathering that back brake. So when
Yeah.
he feels that he's going too far back, a little dab of that back brake.
Yeah, front will go
drops them
down.
back down.
Yeah, the moment you realise you can control the forwards and backwards momentum of the bike, your wheelies are they're gonna soar. They're gonna be fantastic.
Well, hopefully, Javier, we've helped you and many others who are struggling to wheelie.
Great show.
Another show done.
Love answering them questions.
Yeah, and they can keep sending them to ask@GMBN, comment in the section down below, use that hashtag, use social media, whatever. Get the questions to us and we'll try our very best to answer them.
Yeah, and you must be loving the videos because they're great, and you can see a new one every day of the week by subscribing, so you can hit this logo just here to do just that.
And I'm going to say that you should watch a video all about 5 ways to get out on your mountain bike this winter. Right here, click on it, watch it, and learn for yourself.
And I'm going to throw to this video that's got some great ideas in it. It's a little bit fun. It's the gentleman's rules of mountain biking, which we enjoyed making quite a lot. So click on that one. And if you like it, you like this video, and you like the one Scott's thrown you to, give us a thumbs up like.